Hello everyone and welcome to my Bachelor Nation 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Golden Bachelorette Chock Chapple gushes over first holiday with Joan. Golden Bachelorette winner Chock Chapple is gushing over the first holiday spent with fans Joan Vassos. They were able to unite their two families to get to know each other to celebrate Thanksgiving. Keep reading to find out more about what Chock had to say about their experience in Maryland. Chock Chapple gushing over holiday with family. Golden Bachelorette final rose winner Chock Chapple went to Instagram to gush over the time he spent with Joan Vassos over the Thanksgiving holiday. He shared multiple photos from their weekend together, and it looks like everyone had a blast. Chock said, "First Thanksgiving in Maryland with the Vassos crew and Chapple kids. So much to be thankful for, family, laughter, and the start of new traditions." Joan replied back on his post saying, "Loved being with you guys this week. Felt so easy having the families together. Can't wait for the next time." Fans chimed in as well saying how happy they are for both Joan and Chock. Others said how similar their daughters look and could pass for sisters. While they were together for the long weekend, Chock and Joan also decorated a Christmas tree and hung stockings for each of their family members. Overall, they had more than a dozen white stockings with names on them. The tree is beautiful and features a custom-made ornament honoring the Golden Bachelorette. It also has a tux and dress on it and says engaged 2024. Joan also honored her late husband the day before Thanksgiving. Golden Bachelorette Joan Vassos also honored her late husband over the holiday. It was his birthday the day before Thanksgiving. So she revealed she and their family went to the cemetery to sing happy birthday to John and to share fun stories about him. After they were done at the cemetery, they all went to breakfast. Following this family time, Joan returned home to be with Chock Chapple and his children. While Chock was in town, he also fixed her broken closet. She is convinced that John was sending her a sign that she has too many clothes hanging in there. Joan and Chock are excited to share the holidays together and unite their families more often. They will be taking turns being in Kansas, Maryland, and New York City. As the frost of early December spread across the quaint streets of Middleburg, Virginia, Chock Chapple found himself in the glow of something far warmer than the seasonally appropriate roaring fire. His newfound love, Joan Vassos, was bustling in the kitchen, laughing at her own attempt to perfect a cinnamon-glazed ham. The scene, a hallmark card of holiday romance, was almost surreal to Chock. It was his first holiday with Joan, a milestone he could hardly believe was real after the whirlwind of emotions they had navigated on the Golden Bachelorette. "Every Christmas before this one felt like I was watching life through a snow globe. Pretty to look at, but untouchable," Chock confessed, his deep voice carrying a hint of reverie. "But now, it's like Joan turned that globe upside down and let all the magic spill into my life." The retired firefighter had always prided himself on being grounded, a man of tradition. But his time on the Golden Bachelorette and his unexpected connection with Joan had cracked open a new world for him. Now he was creating fresh traditions, blending his deep-rooted values with Joan's effervescent approach to life. Deck the halls with love and laughter. The couple's first Christmas tree was a true collaboration, emblematic of their budding relationship. Joan, with her eye for design, had envisioned a theme of gold and white, elegant and timeless. Chock, on the other hand, had arrived with a box of ornaments that bore the sentimental weight of decades. An angel his daughter had crafted from macaroni in kindergarten, a miniature Dalmatian in honor of his firehouse days, and even a slightly tacky Santa on a Harley ornament gifted by an old friend. "We had to compromise," Joan said with a playful smirk, Her arm looped through Chock's as they recounted their decorating adventure. I wanted sophistication. Chock wanted nostalgia. So now we have a tree that's a little bit of both, refined, but with heart. Chock chuckled. And a Harley Santa. Let's not forget the Harley Santa. Their living room now sparkled with a glow of fairy lights, the tree standing proudly as a testament to their shared story. Underneath, gifts were already piling up, many of them wrapped by Joan with precision and flair. Chock, true to form, had contributed his own wrapping efforts. A slightly lopsided package he joked required firefighter-level problem-solving. A feast of firsts. Joan's kitchen, typically a serene space, had been transformed into a hub of culinary chaos. Chock had insisted on making his grandmother's stuffing, a recipe he swore was the best thing to happen to bread since sliced bread. Joan, meanwhile, had embarked on her mission to master the aforementioned ham, determined to create a centerpiece worthy of their holiday table. I'd never made a holiday meal from scratch before, Joan admitted, her cheeks flushed from both the heat of the oven and her determination. But Chock has this way of making you feel like you can do anything. So I thought, why not? Worst case, we order pizza, right? As it turned out, the ham was a triumph, glossy, fragrant, and tender enough to cut with a fork. The stuffing, too, was a hit, though Chock joked that Joan's secret ingredient was the reason. It's love, he said with a wink, earning himself a playful swat on the arm. Family matters. One of the most poignant aspects of the holiday was how seamlessly their families had intertwined. Joan's two daughters, initially skeptical of their mother's televised search for love, had warmed to Chock immediately. His down-to-earth demeanor and obvious adoration for Joan had melted away any doubts. My girls are fiercely protective, Joan said. They've always been my biggest cheerleaders, but also my toughest critics. Seeing them and Chock laugh over old family stories, that's when I knew this was the real deal. For Chock, the feeling was mutual. His adult son and daughter had flown in for the holidays, eager to meet the woman who had captured their father's heart. Joan, ever gracious, had won them over within minutes, her warmth and humor shining as brightly as the Christmas lights. Moments of reflection. As the evening settled into a comfortable rhythm, with carols playing softly in the background and glasses of mulled wine in hand, Chock and Joan stole a quiet moment by the fire. This year has been one for the books, Joan murmured, leaning into Chock's embrace. If someone had told me a year ago that I'd be spending Christmas with a man like you, I wouldn't have believed them. Chock tightened his arm around her, his gaze thoughtful. Life's funny like that. Just when you think you've seen it all, it hands you something, or someone, you didn't even know you were missing. They sat in silence for a while, watching the flames dance, each lost in their own thoughts. For Joan, it was the journey that had brought her here, the courage it had taken to open herself up to love again, the vulnerability of sharing her story with millions, and the sheer joy of finding a man who saw her, truly saw her, for who she was. For Chock, it was the sense of peace he hadn't realized he craved. His life had been rich with purpose and connection, but Joan had added a layer of meaning he hadn't thought possible. Looking ahead. As midnight approached and the first snowflakes began to fall outside, Joan and Chock found themselves dreaming aloud about the future. Next year, Chock said, his voice filled with quiet certainty, I want to take you to Montana for Christmas. Show you where I grew up, the mountains that shaped me. Joan smiled, her eyes sparkling. And I want to take you to Greece. We'll have Christmas by the sea, with ouzo and baklava instead of eggnog and cookies. They laughed, the sound as warm as the fire crackling beside them. A love that shines for Chock and Joan, this holiday wasn't just a celebration of the season. It was a celebration of their love, a love that had blossomed against all odds. It was proof that life, no matter how unpredictable, had a way of surprising you when you least expected it. Every ornament on that tree, every dish on the table, every laugh we've shared today, it all feels like a gift, Chock said, his voice thick with emotion. But the greatest gift of all is you, Joan. And as the clock struck midnight, with the world outside blanketed in snow and their hearts full, Joan and Chock toasted to the promise of many more holidays to come, a promise written in the stars and sealed with love.